Hi, welcome to the Connection podcast. This is episode 2, all about how and why the word sorry can feel like swallowing razor blades. I'm Lauren Dry, also known as the Connection Catalyst, founder of a coaching program called Rise into Regulation, focused on helping driven women and couples have it all at home by rewiring their old and new patterns for safe and successful connection, even after years of chaos, and even if only one person is doing the work. On my podcast, I'll share with you all of the real and raw moments in my own marriage, from the tough breakdown to the relief of the breakthrough, and share with you the science, simplicity, and soul that brought us and so many other couples into connection and contentment too, so that you can finally discover and use the tools that you need to have a home that's filled with calm, contentment, and play, because we all deserve a blueprint for finally having it all at home. Okay, before we get stuck into all things sorry and repair, we started off with a fun ride last week, didn't we? We called it the blooper episode as it launched. We'd like to keep you on your toes. So if you didn't catch that, what happened basically is we've been having 45 degrees Celsius weather lately. This is wild. It normally doesn't get so consistently hot like that here. And so while recording the podcast, you obviously need to have the aircon off so you can have great sound. And it's a little warm. So by the time the podcast is over, it's a little sweaty in here. And in a moment of, let's just say, energetic release, we may have dropped in a colourful word at the end there, just about the state of the microwave in here. So hope you enjoyed that. But it will forever live on in our memories. Now, for this episode, what we're going to be covering is a big one for couples, but also really anyone in any kind of relationship anywhere. If you're like me, you've experienced both being wronged and hurt and betrayed, and you've also been wrong. Oftentimes, being wrong can be something as simple as running late, losing your temper, or even just not taking something as seriously as you needed to. And a lot of the time, it can also be something more. In these cases, we have awareness that maybe we need to initiate repair, be the bigger person, apologise and move on. But that 5-letter word that we know can do so much toward connection, instead it just seems to feel like swallowing razor blades when you try to get it out. So we're going to cover a few common reasons as to why not just your mind but your body feels like this, but also how to move quickly and effectively back into repair and out of resentment and stewing and tit for tat. I'd like you to think of your nervous system as a training ground. So reactions, responses, feelings, emotions, these are all stored up as pattern responses that get switched on or off when we feel big emotions. Now, to our nervous system, big emotions like anger and hurt and pain actually equal big red alert systems. So sirens that are going off in the center of our bodies saying, danger, 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 your life is at risk. Now, our logical minds might actually know that having our feelings hurt or that making a small mistake is not a big deal. But even though we know neither of these things should mean that the world is ending, it can still feel, when we have these massive, intense emotions, that it's impossible to calmly consider the seriousness or the simplicity of what has just happened, to apologise or to problem solve without blowing up or overreacting or shutting down. And that's because to our nervous system, big emotions are a signal that our life is actually in danger. It doesn't know the difference chemically between the adrenaline that comes from the fear and stress that comes from a tiger chasing us, or the adrenaline that comes from despair and betrayal. The same chemicals get released, and so the same bodily reactions take place. So your heart rate goes up, it rushes the blood to your muscles so that you can run really fast and you have fast reaction rates. The cortisol levels increase, but also you're disconnected from a part of the brain called the higher cortex. And the higher cortex is responsible for calmly making decisions, understanding the consequences of your behavior, reasoning. So it's a really big deal when you've got all these chemicals going through your body, stopping you from being able to respond instead of react. Our nervous system can interpret apologies as two things that prevent us from dropping into repair, even in small moments of rupture and even when we know that we should. The first out of these two is that sorry can be a signal to our nervous system that we're safe. And if we don't feel safe because of these chemicals rushing through our system, or because of past histories of betrayal or because the other person is also in the wrong, then the word sorry can sound like a signal to your nervous system that the danger protocol needs to be turned off, even though the bodily systems are very still much sensing and feeling a deep danger. And so saying sorry and signaling safety to your nervous system that still very much believes that a tiger is coming can feel like self-betrayal and self-abuse of sorts. The second reason is that sorry can also mean failure. If you're like many adults of this generation, you were raised by parents who were told never to apologize to their children. Always maintain a hierarchy of control. Don't let your children ever see you as weak or they'll run all over you. This is actually called authoritarian parenting. And look, for a lot of parents, this is no judgment on how much they loved you, but it also created a pattern in their children of a deep fear and mistrust of appearing weak, and a really distinct lack of comfort and capability to be able to navigate the world of repair, because what we see, we can recreate. And if you're the child of a family that never witnessed healthy repair and were never apologized to, the word sorry is not only going to feel deeply unfamiliar, but dangerous. So how do we navigate this? How do we teach our nervous system not to freak out and burn down the house when our logical mind wants to begin seeing small moments of rupture as opportunities for reconnection? But our body sees every transgression or mistake that's made by ourselves or someone else as a signal to release all the exact same chemicals that a tiger is chasing us, which disconnects us from logic, stops us from being able to correctly judge whether we're safe or not, and prevents us from finding safety in repair and reconnection. The first thing that we need to do is start getting familiar with our patterns. You can do this by journaling about the last mistake that you might have made where you wished to repair and apologize but found at the time that you couldn't. So just take yourself back to that moment and ask yourself these questions. What does this moment remind me of? Does my body match this with an experience from my childhood? What had I learned from this moment back in time about repair that makes repair so difficult now as an adult? What did this moment mean about me and my safety? The second thing that we can do is start practicing somatic exercises to find safety within our body during stressful moments. This means taming the tiger. We use these tools and somatic practices to rewire our body from seeing repair as dangerous to creating new pathways that allow us to judge appropriately and safely how to repair in a way that doesn't result in self-abandonment and actually creates new pathways for trust. Not only trust with others, but trust for ourselves. The third thing that we can do is start small. So find a moment where perhaps you may have been able to do better. You were running late, perhaps you were a little careless with close connections, feelings, or circumstances. And choose, instead of brushing it off, to practice a small opportunity for repair. Opportunities to apologize don't have to be heavy and burdensome. They can be really connective in close relationships, especially for women and men who've trained themselves, maybe in business situations, not to apologize, but instead say appreciative statements as a way to maintain power and control of business relationships. You can do both. And in close relationships, they are a game changer. This sounds something like, hey, thanks so much for your patience. I really appreciate it. That kind of statement sounds really kind of just a pattern that you're used to as a leader. So what I also want you to do is bring in the apology on top of this. You don't have to choose between an apology and appreciation statement in order to try and maintain that sense of control. You can say, hey, thanks so much for your patience. I really appreciate it. Sorry for not being here when we needed to be. I know it's important to you. And then you can add in a bridging statement like, can I grab you a cuppa? I love you. Or something else that feels reparative at the end. A bridge towards connection. Now, If you're in a dynamic where you worry that saying sorry can open the door to more fights, more disconnection, and swing open the floodgates to more issues, what you have here is a disconnection issue between difficult conversations and connection and growth. So to fix this, it's absolutely a great time to start quietly observing in the calm moments questions like, what am I not sharing with my partner? How can I ask my partner what they need from me? How much time are we putting aside each week to invest in the emotional health of our relationship, if at all? We all know that investing financially in different opportunities can set ourselves up or our business for success. But how much time are you taking to invest in the health of your relationship? The same as you would any other business or goal or plan for the future. Relationships are living and breathing things, and they're evolving all the time. So checking in on how the word sorry feels in your relationship can be a really great opportunity to have a healthy check on how much active time and energy you're putting into the most important partnership in your life. And that's the one that's not only in your home and marriage, but with yourself, your nervous system, your self-trust. I'd love to hear how you find these exercises. So we'll put some notes in the summary for the podcast. Come and hang out with me anytime over at the Connection Catalyst on Instagram, or you can reach me for a session anytime over at my website. Thanks for being here. And if you have something that you're looking forward to hearing more about in marriage and relationships, you can contact me on Instagram and I'll make sure to add it to the plan. Big love from me here and the team here at the Connection Catalyst. Bye.